Am I the asshole for selling my son's car to pay for his stepbrother's surgery? My stepson, 16, has a medical condition since he was born. He used to be doing fine, but 14 months ago his health started worsening. His mom and I put all our emergency fund towards his first surgery. Now 7 months later he's in need of a second one, which was not anticipated. We're not doing great financially. We don't have anything of value to sell to use the money on the surgery except my 18-year-old son's car that me and his mom bought together, and I eventually gave it to him to drive to college. I decided since it was in my name that I could sell it. He found out and was not happy about it. I explained the situation to him, but he said it was a gift from me and his mom and I had no right to take it back and sell it. I explained again, but he was having none of it. We got into a huge argument and his uncle started shaming me for taking the car, saying my stepson's health issues aren't my son's responsibility. I refused to negotiate or get into an argument with them, but my son's upset and he's been avoiding me and my wife for days now. You are the asshole. Do you plan to give your ex-wife her investment in the car back after you sell it? Also, your son is 18. Why is the car still in your name? This is not a solo decision you can make. 1. Mom paid for part of the vehicle. 2. The vehicle is your son's vehicle and was a gift. It should already be in his name. 3. You are creating resentment and strife in your family. There are charitable foundations, state medical and other options to pay for the surgery that don't involve stealing from your child. Info. Why not sell your car? Or your wife's? Am I the asshole for asking my neighbors to be more considerate? My neighbors are a young couple in their 30s, Annie and Bill. They've had a baby a couple months ago. The baby came home last month after 3 months in hospital. My wife is friendly with Annie. We can't have children, so whenever we have a neighbor with a baby my wife makes friends with them. We have my mum staying with us, as she is no longer able to live independently. My mum has complained several times that she can hear the baby crying, especially at night. My wife says the baby has bad reflux, and they are trying to deal with it. The baby screams several times a day. It's awful listening to the poor thing cry for so long. It does feel like they aren't dealing with the baby as quickly as they should be. The baby screamed for 10 minutes solid the other night. My wife says that the baby screams when they bathe it, as Annie has told her that baby doesn't like being bathed. Baby is always crying and it's frustrating, especially when mum needs peace and quiet to recover from surgery. Since the baby has come home, there is no longer any room on our street during the day as we have on-street parking. This is making it difficult to get mum to appointments as she can't walk to the end of the street to get her in the car, but we also can't park in the middle of the road as it blocks the road and can take over 10 minutes to get her in the car due to mobility issues. There had always been at least one empty bay outside our house, but now it is always occupied by either someone from their families visiting or one of the healthcare professionals involved in the baby's care. I reached a breaking point at the weekend. Mum had been home alone all day and she was in tears when I got home from work. Wife was away visiting friends. She said the baby had been screaming all day long. It was still crying when I came home. I went and knocked on Bill and Annie's door to ask if they could quieten the baby. I could see through the frosted glass that Annie was sat on the bottom of the stairs, not even trying to calm the baby down. When she came to the door, she apologized and said she had been trying to calm baby down, but the new medication was making him constipated, and he was straining to poo. Bill had gone to pick up an emergency prescription to try and help. I snapped as she clearly hadn't been trying as she was on the stairs and told her that they need to be more considerate of others, and if she didn't quieten the baby then I would log a noise complaint with the police. Annie was upset at this and closed the door in my face. When my wife came back, she told her what I had said. Now my wife is angry with me as I was making life difficult for a young couple with a sick baby and is giving me the silent treatment. I feel like I may be in the wrong because of how my wife has reacted, but at the same time, the baby is always crying and I think they need to be more considerate of their neighbors. I'm going to get hate for this, but thank God you can't have kids. Your lack of empathy and inability to sympathize are outrageous. Real babies aren't like dogs or dolls. I would hate to see how you would have treated your wife or your own child. You are the asshole. On-street parking means it's game for anyone, even if it's an inconvenience to others. Filing a noise complaint because of a crying baby is ridiculous. I actually hope you do and you come back here to indicate how big of a laughingstock you are for doing so. Expecting someone to be able to magically stop a baby from crying that has health issues is also unreasonable. That's not how babies work. Just because the baby was crying when you went over to make your ridiculous demand and wasn't being held doesn't mean the parents aren't actively trying to soothe their child and instead are taking a moment to catch their breath as reasonable parents and people oftentimes do when things get stressful. Am I the asshole for calling my girlfriend selfish for not picking my kids up from school? I am 36, have been with my girlfriend F32, for 2 years. I have 2 boys M13 and M9 from my previous relationship. Their mom is not in the picture. I work full-time and my girlfriend used to stay home and take care of everything else. I still help out here and there, yet she would complain about the kids causing constant messes, not receiving proper discipline, accidents like breaking a vase, and the list goes on. She complained that she is more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income. Yet she decided she wanted to go back to work and started looking. She found a potential job and her interview was yesterday. I called her to remind her to pick the kids up from school since she's responsible for it, but she said she was about to start her interview and told me to go get them. I was stunned. I told her I couldn't because I was at work. She said I could take a break, but I refused because this would have affected my job. I asked if she'd take 10 minutes to quickly go pick them up, but she refused. We ended up getting into an argument and me telling her she should have figured something out beforehand. She blew up saying that I'm the parent and that she was tired of being at my beck and call all the time. The kids ended up being picked up by my friend 40 minutes later, which made them upset. At home, I got into a huge argument with my girlfriend, calling her selfish for doing this to the kids and ditching them like that. She said that she had an important interview and that I, as the parent, could have figured something out instead of expecting her to drop what she was doing and pick the kids up. She called me an asshole, then went to stay with her mom. She complained that she is more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income. Just based off of this, you are the asshole. You are the asshole. You're also deluded. She complained that she is more of a parent than I am, which is not true since I provide an income. Bringing in the money makes you a provider, not a parent. And #X200B. I work full-time and my girlfriend used to stay home and take care of everything else. By your own words, it sounds like she's been very selfless and helpful. You're the selfish one. You are the asshole. She had something going on that was important for her and her future, and they're your children. She's right. She's more of a parent than you because providing an income isn't the same as actual parenting. You're basically letting her to a 24/7 job to avoid taking responsibility yourself. Am I the asshole for telling my half-sister my dad didn't do anything wrong? My parents were married and had me. Then my mom cheated on my dad while I was still a baby and got pregnant with another man's child. My dad filed for divorce and established through the courts that he was not the father of my half-sister and fought not to have parental responsibility of her. My dad did get shared custody of me and because of shared custody did not have to pay child support. My half-sister's bio-father was unknown and while mom did try to find him, was unsuccessful. My mom went on to have 4 more kids with 4 different guys. My dad continued to take care of me but never took them on. When dad knew mom was struggling, he would make sure I was taken care of at her house and CPS, and the courts did not believe things were bad enough for me to live with him primarily. So I was always better taken care of than my siblings. My half-siblings all hate my dad and I believe a large part of that is due to mom telling them stuff all through the years. When I was about 13, mom tried to poison me against dad by telling me how dad let them suffer, how he fought to reject my half-sister, how he was often mean to her about them when she would talk to him. But it did not change how I felt about my dad, and when I was 16 I made the decision to live with him. I just turned 20 and my half-sister is 18. She came after me to argue and to have it out over my dad. She accused me of being a dick for not being mad at dad. She then went on to tell me a story about mom struggling to afford diapers and how dad made sure to send diapers that were just in my size instead of money so mom could buy for both of us, and how he even saw her out with us once and bought stuff that could be just used on me when she was right there. I told her I didn't see what my dad did as wrong because he was never her dad. She said he could have been, but he rejected her in court. I told her again that to me, dad did nothing wrong. She called me an asshole. Said as her older brother I should be furious that he would be okay with her and the rest our siblings going hungry, not having the right care, and that he could have stepped up but chose not to, which should make me hate him. She said the fact I could look her in the eye and say he did nothing wrong made me just as bad as him. Am I the asshole? Absolutely not the asshole. Their anger is directed at your dad because they saw him providing for you. He is not obligated to spend a dime on your half-siblings. Where's their dads? That's where their anger needs to be directed to. Not the asshole and your mom is a bad person. Not the asshole. Your resistance of your mother's attempts to alienate you from your father is a strength you should hold on to. I don't blame your siblings for clinging to your mother's fantasy because children need such denial of reality to survive and all they have is your mother. They may grow out of it as adults. They may not. Not the asshole. Unfortunately, your sister has been poisoned against your dad by your mom. Your half-siblings aren't his children. Why the hell would he agree to take them on? Why would he agree to a lifetime of support for children that aren't his? It makes no sense.